Hello everybody. I've snuck into the studio at Highlight Crafts today to give you a little bit of inspiration for a collection called Once Upon a Time. So you kind of get a little glimpse of what it's going to be about. That launches on Monday. So Monday will be, I have no idea. The what? The 2nd. See, I have no idea. I don't even look at days and months now. I just get up and do my job and then go back to sleep again. The 4th, sorry, not the 2nd, the 4th of March. So Monday the 4th of March, this is launching. And it's super, super, super cute, as you can probably imagine. There's Minecraft Studio, there's SVG files, there's dies, and it's a lovely welcome to spring, I think. So there's a couple of things I want to show you. First of all is how you just cut one robin and leave the rest intact with the rectangle around it, because I've had quite a few people ask about that. Because if you cut all 9 pips out and you're only using one, the 8 might end up a little bit dog-eared, whereas we can just cut one out and keep the sheet intact. And then I'm going to put a little composition together for you just to give you a starting point with this collection. So let's start by doing the reflection. So I've put the files onto a USB. You'll obviously get a USB with the files on it. And I printed off pip, so fishing pip, and it's a small size because with the project that I'm working on, I wanted them to be a little bit smaller. There's also one on there that's like a gathering, which gives you an even smaller version. So the other thing I want, just before we scan this in, I want to talk to you about resizing your reflections. So when you go to you bring up your reflection as normal, and when you go to your percentage button on your print settings, you drop it to whatever percentage you want. So if it's 50%, 75%, whatever you want, and that makes the whole thing smaller. If you're working on an SDX machine, when you go to your resize button, there is also a percentage resize button. So all you would do is take that down to the percentage that you set your print at. If you're working on a CM machine, all you need to do is measure the height of the rectangle once it's printed off at a percentage. So let's say it's 152 millimeters. So you'll bring on your cutting file, group it together, and then resize it so the height is 152 millimeters. You don't need to worry about the width because the rectangle will scale down like that and scale up like that. So it'll make the ratio correct as it is. So that's how you resize it. And I love that because then you can have teeny tiny pips. You can have bigger pips if you've got an A3 printer, so you can really play around with the designs then, which is great. So let's show you how we just cut one of these out, shall we? So I'm just going to press this down. So this is printed on 140. I'm using a low tack mat, but my low tack mat has been retacked. So I've used the Pinflair stencil glue on it, so it's nice and sticky. When you first use a brand new mat, please don't burnish it down the way that I just did. Just put it on and press it down with your hand, because if you think about what's going to happen to this, it's going to go through the scanner and back. Then you've got a blade and those rollers that are going to press that paper down as it's cutting. So once you've got a brand new mat, just very gently do this. I always kind of tap it on my pinny first, just to take off a little bit of that tack. If we didn't have the option to retack with stencil glue, I probably wouldn't do that. But because we do, we're not taking any of the life away from the mat. Right, so let's get started. So I've got my USB into the side of my ScanNCut. Doesn't matter which ScanNCut you own, it works in all of them. We're going to retrieve from the USB. So I've got Minecraft Studio on. Diane is going to show you a really cool tip that creates the background that I'm going to use in the demo. So that's super cool because now they're following on. And then this is your SVG files. So I want to find fishing pip. So we want fishing pip and we want the small version. So we want the reflections and then we want the small version. Okay, so you've then got your reflection decoupage and your reflection cut, and it says small. So I'm going to click on that and it will open up that cutting file. Okay, so we're going to press OK and set it on the workable mat. So the first thing we're going to do is group it together. So multiple select, everything on the mat, press OK, go to Object Edit and group it. And we do that because we're going to have to move the whole thing because we need the rectangle to line up over the printed rectangle. So the next thing we're going to do is scan this in. So we can see it, the ScanNCut can see it, and we know where we're working. Stick that down there for now. So I'm going to load this in, and I'm going to scan it in. So we're not scanning from the home screen, and I know a lot of you know it, but we get asked about reflections every week. So we're going to press OK and again, and you'll see this little scanner here. So we're going to scan this in and press start. And I love the SGX because it's super quiet. It's really good because when I was working at home a bit, when I was doing the made from the memory, I get up. I like getting up early in the morning, so I'm a morning person. By 10 o'clock, you've lost me at night. You've had it. But I like mornings, so I get up and sneak downstairs in my craft room at like 6 o'clock, 6:30, and I had this running, and nobody knew in the house. It was excellent. So I'm going to go to edit, and I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to zoom into 400%, so it's as tight as it can be. And then I'm just going to move this and line this over the top of here. Okay, and then I'm going to use my directional arrows just to nudge it. Now, when I pull out, you can see that the red lines, excuse me, look like a proper red. If I start to, and that sounds weird, doesn't it? So if I start to nudge this over so it's in the wrong position, you'll see how you start to get a very slight double line, and almost this side looks darker because it's not lined up perfectly. So just always make sure that you zoom in to 400% to get it right. So the next thing we need to do is ungroup it. Okay, so we go to Object Edit, ungroup it, and once you've ungrouped something that's been multiple selected, you must tap the screen to release the shapes, otherwise it will continue to select all of them. There is a rectangle now that is sat on top of all the robins. That's how the ScanNCut sees it. So the first thing we need to get rid of is the rectangle so that we can get to the robins. And because we've already lined it up, we can do that now. And what that does is leave the rectangle on the printed reflection intact. So next time you come to cut out another robin, you can still line it up with the rectangle. So to do this, I'm going to get rid of all these 6 first of all. So I'm selecting one of them. So this time I multiple select part of the mat. Now this is one way of doing it. So I can drag over here. I've literally just thought of a new idea. Okay, so we're going to try and see if it works. So I'm going to pull that back, and I've got press OK, and I could delete all of those. But I'm just going to try something else. And I don't know why I haven't thought about this before. Do you ever do that? Think of an idea and think, why did I not think about that like months ago? I do that all the time. I'm just going to see if it works. So I'm going to highlight that one. I'm going to go into the spanner, and I'm going to change my cut area. And I'm going to do that. And I'm going to press OK. And I'm going to keep going till we get to cut. And I'm going to please select and cut. Tells me there's pattern outside the effective area, but it's okay to continue. And that works. Amazing. There you go. There you go. How about that? So you've saved all those processes now just by blocking out. So you've blocked out. So when the ScanNCut can't see it, obviously it can't cut it because it doesn't know it's there. You can see it, but the ScanNCut can't. That's a much quicker. Oh, today's going to be an amazing day. Somebody's just said to me, today's motto is I can and I will. There you go. How about that? That's magic. Super excited. The other thing that I'm super excited about, actually, is the fact that we've got printable shrink plastic. So you could make little robin charms as well if you wanted to. Just make sure you put the hole in before you shrink it down, okay? Right, so now we've got our full sheet still intact, but we've got our pip. Look at that. Cut out. How fabulous is he? He's actually my favourite character that we've ever done. I love Pip, mainly because we had a dog called Pip. Unfortunately, he's not with us anymore. We've got Bo now. But look at him. He's just proper. His feathers are all fluffy. Do you know what I mean? He's a proper little chunky robin. I love that. That's fab. Andrew, what did you just ask me? Sorry, I'm talking to the voice in my ear now. If you don't delete the rectangle, you can do the same thing because, so Andrew's just asked what happens if we don't delete the rectangle. Okay, so because you're going over the rectangle to block everything out, it will block out the rectangle. So now you don't even need to bother doing that. You just scan it in, reduce your background or your cut amount down. No, let me do it again. Let's show you, all right, because I'm talking it and I need to show you. I love this. This is so cool. This is how my brain works. And I have no idea where that thought came from, just so that you know. I don't know. They just pop in my head. Pop in my head. Like a little voice going, Melanie, why don't you just do it like that? I like to think it's my granddad. That's what I like to think. Right, so let's do it again then. And let's cut out this middle one at the top. I love it when we find something new. Right, so we're going to retrieve from the USB. We're going to go to SVGs. We're going to go to Fishing Pip and Reflections and the small version. There we go. We want the actual main image itself, not the decoupage. So let's do this. So I'm going to put this back to here just by dragging that arrow. And now we're going to group it. So group it all together, scan it in, and start. Oh, see, 8 years on, well, 8.5 years nearly on, still finding new things, still having new ideas. I'm so excited about this year because I've got so much to teach you. It's really cool. And we've got some online classes going on as well, which is going to be great. Right, so zoom in again. 400%, drop that rectangle over the rectangle that's printed, nudge it up, nudge it across, so we're in the right place. Okay, so now we're not going to ungroup it. So let's see if it works like this. I think it will. We're going to do cut area, and we're going to go right over there like that and bring that up to there, and I'm also going to do that because it will find that piece there. Let's have a look, see what we've got now. Let's see when we get to our cut screen. No pattern in the effective area. Right, I know why. Okay, so this is really good. I know why. It will work if we do it differently. This is how my brain works. So the reason that it won't do it is because the rectangle is grouped with the robins. So we need to ungroup it, tap the screen. Now we can drag over. So we go to cut area, we drag over that, we drag over that, we press OK, and we've now got our pip. Let's go back because we've got a little bit there. See, it's finding that little bit there, that little bit there. So go back into here, make sure you go right over the cut area. So go right over that robin there, isolate the bit that you want, and then we'll cut him out. Hee-hee! Yes, so I'm going to explain while it's cutting, I'll explain that a little bit more in depth. So you've selected the rectangle and all 9 robins and you've grouped it together, so that's one part. So as soon as you drag over even the bottom edge of that rectangle, it can't see anything because it's one piece. By ungrouping it, you're separating those 9 robins and the rectangle, so you've then got 10 items on your screen. So you drag over 9 of them, keep that one selected, and then it will cut it out. That's even quicker. That's brilliant. See, this is what happens. And do you know what? Apart from teaching you guys, which I absolutely love, and I really do love, because this machine has become my crafty life. I can't imagine working with anything else now. I love it. I love problem solving. I love people coming and going, how do I do this? How do I do that? Can I make it do this? It's my favourite thing. So because we do a free scan and cut class every month, if you've ever got anything like that and you think Mel might know how to do it, email me, okay? It's mel@highlightcrafts.com. So mel@highlightcrafts, all one word, .com. And then we can do a Q&A session and the classes then become bespoke to you. So let's see if we've got another fishing tip. We have, look at this. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Look at that. Look at him. I just want to get his cheeks and do that. You know, when you do like a new baby, when you touch the cheeks like that. I just want to do that with Pip. It's lovely. Right, let's make a card, shall we? Let's do a layout for you. So I got loads of stuff cut yesterday, and I thought we could do a little card. This is the background that Diane's going to teach you, because this doesn't exist as a background at the moment, and it's really cool. It's really cool. And I like the fact that we've got these boardwalks, if you like, or jetties, whatever you want to call them, on either side now. So she'll teach you how to do that. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is put the corners in place, okay? Because I love the fact that we've got these branches here. So I'm going to glue it down for you, just because otherwise I'll move my hand and something will fall off. I'm going to bring it over a little bit further. And I know that doesn't make sense at the moment because we've now got a straight edge that isn't lined up to the edge of here, but it will do in a minute. So I'm going to put a little bit of pin flare bookbinding glue on, and just to do, and I know not everybody likes doing this, if you don't, do it on a piece of acetate, but just tap those really fine branches into the glue, whether it's on a piece of plastic or whatever it's on. Just try not to do it on a glass mat, because if you forget and your glue dries on a glass mat, it's really difficult to get off. So I've got the little branches now glued in place. I'm going to move this across. I'm lining it up to the top edge so that it looks like it's meant to be there. And I'm just pulling those branches within the parameters of that. And then I'm going to take this. Now these are the grasses. But I also thought, you know, where there's water, there's lots of hanging reeds and things like that, isn't there? There's lots of hanging foliage. So I thought that looked quite nice in a corner. It looks like we've just taken a snapshot of a big scene. Okay, so let's stick that down. You could put that on with some 3D foam or some glue gel if you wanted to. It's entirely up to you. So I've got one there and I've got one here. And what this does is it frames this piece of art. So it stops the eye going off the edge. You need to frame it to pull the viewer's eye in so it's focused. And that's what that does. And it's things that we do that we don't even think about now because we've been doing it for so long. But it's good to teach you what difference it makes. And that's what we're all about. There's no point in us knowing this and not sharing it with everybody, is there? You imagine going out and buying a print of a picture and it looks great, but it looks even better when you put it in a frame. But then it looks even better if you've got a mount inside the frame, because it's like your mats and layers. That's what it is. It's like mats and layers for your paper craft. So what we're doing is we're creating this image that's focused. So now I'm going to put another piece of the reeds into the other corner, like this. So we've now created that. It keeps it in. Can you see how it's almost like you're looking into it, into the picture now? So the next thing I want to do is add some of these bulrushes, and these are lovely. So I'm going to pop these down here at the bottom. And again, I am going to put glue on the back of my hand because it's the easiest way to get those fine pieces with glue on them. And just tap it like this, just on the back of your hand or onto, like, you know, a piece of packaging. Rather than just throwing it away, use it to do that. And then I can just press that down in place. And that's my first set of bulrushes. And then I'm going to put another one of the corners, but the right way up this time. So again, we end up looking into that scene. I love it. It is a bit like, yeah, Andrew's right. Andrew's my producer in my head. If you ever wonder who I'm talking to, I'm talking to the voice in my head. He said, it's a bit like a vignette. You're quite right, Andrew, it is. Look at you getting all crafty. Right, and then I'm going to put another one over here. So I'm creating a little bit of symmetry. And it's interesting because, you know, it's all these things. And some people will just go, I don't care. I just like it the way I like it. But when you work in even numbers like we are here, so we're using 2 or 2 trees, 2 of these, 2 bulrushes, it creates symmetry. And symmetry means that the recipient looks at the whole picture in one. If you use odd numbers, the human eye will naturally search for a triangle. So it will look there and it'll start to look for where the others are that are the same. It's really interesting. And you know what? You don't even realise you're doing it I didn't even realise that my eyes did that. I didn't even think it was a thing or a thought process, but apparently it is. And actually, when you know it, it makes sense. So now I've got this lovely frame going on from the pieces that are building the scene. Right, so let's have a look at some of these little characters. Oh no, let's put the flowers in first. So I'm going to have a little flower just tucked behind here. So let's just pull this on and put it on the front. Doesn't matter like that. Right, so we'll have that going on the front. If you're going to stick it in front of something like this, and I'm just going to show you this, don't have it floating like that. It needs to be grounded, so bring it right down to the bottom of the card. Don't worry about having little bits hanging over. Makes it look a little bit more natural. And then I'm just going to tuck that piece into there like that. And then I've got another one that's going to go here. Okay, now I could have done a reversed one for this to create perfect symmetry, but we're not creating symmetry right through the image. So we can go a little bit off-piste if you like. So I'm going to pop that down there. That's quite nice. And I don't worry about this being flat. I want it to stand off a little bit like this. Okay, so we've now got that in, and I've also got some little flowers that we might add in later on. So what I want to do now is decide what I'm going to put in the water. And we've got these little paper boats, like a little origami boat. I love that. I think it's the cutest little thing. And even the sails are made from little pieces of paper. I think it's magic. And I saw it, I was like, oh, that's the most gorgeous little accessory. I think it's fabulous. So we're going to pop that there. So it's just coming in from the side. Maybe Pip's just got out of it and his boat's just floating over to the other side. We have to make up stories, don't we, when we're doing this? Then I've got little Pip who's going to stand on this little jetty over here. Okay, so he's going to stand on here. He's got his little tackle box and he's got his little paper hat on and he's got his picnic basket and his little fishing rod. Look at him. How can you not love this? It's just so much fun. And then I'm going to have this little chap over here. So he's going to be sat on this boardwalk. Let's see where he... Actually, I'm going to sit him... I'm going to sit him there. Maybe. No, he needs to go. I might not use him. I might use... I'll sit him on here. See how he sits there. Oh, he sits quite nicely there, look. So, because his legs are wide, what we're trying to do is work out how we can make him look like he's meant to be there, not just sat on the ground, because we can't sit him on the ground because we've got a little fish here. And just so that you know, when they go fishing, they always throw the fish back. Okay, so that's where we're at with that. So I'm going to sit him on there and he's going to just drop down. So instantly, by having that fishing rod going over the top of the boat then becomes further in the background. Okay, and I also haven't stuck this part down, so it creates that shadow, that slight drop shadow. Okay, so we've got that. So now let's find a couple of water lilies. So I might have the largest one at the front here with one of the flowers on it, like that. That's nice. I like that. That works for me. So let's stick that down. And you will have your own style. And that's what's wonderful about crafting. You know, you could give this collection to 50 different crafters and they'd all come up with something different, which is magic, I think. So I'm going to stick this flat at the bottom. So wet glue at the bottom here. And then I'm going to bring in some bookbinding glue. No, wrong, Melanie. Glue gel. Words. Right, I'm going to press that down there at the bottom. So it's flat at the bottom. And it's got this little bit of height. Like that. So it's just coming off the water. I remember at my grandma's when I was little, they used to have, my granddad had a pond at the back and they were always fishing it and the water lilies, and it used to be a place where it was really tranquil. And we'd just go and sit on a summer's evening, we'd sit outside on the deck chairs, the old-fashioned ones that you were scared you were going to trap your fingers in. And just listen to the water dripping down. It was, yeah, it was lovely, really lovely. Which reminds me of my granddad, that. He was my best friend, my granddad. I think he's where I get the engineering gene from. He was just, we used to spend hours together in his little workshop. Bless him. Right, so we've got now a little frog here that's floating on some kind of foliage. I'm actually going to put him in front of there because it's bringing another character in. So let's give him a little bit of shape. And then we'll keep his feet flat so it looks like he's dipping his toe in and what have you. So we're going to pop that in there. He's super cute. And then I'm not sure whether I need any more. Now you've got this one who's grounded. So I'm not sure about whether we need him. I might just take away his fishing rod and he could just be sat here watching what's going on, because you've got this little bit of ground here, so he could just be sitting here keeping an eye on things that are going on. I could even have him down there if I wanted to, or I might like him over here. I like him over here, I think down, so it's creating the triangle of the frogs. Can you see? I think if I put him there, it's too straight. So from there to there is too straight and it doesn't quite look right to me. So I'm going to pop him over here because I like him there. So just have a play around and see what you like and what you don't like, okay? Because it's your project, you're the creative, you know, it's up to you. And then I've got these little pieces of foliage that I can put down at the bottom, and I can just pop these here and there down here. And we'll use a little bit of glue gel again. So we'll keep the bottom flat so it looks like it's growing out of the ground, and just to bring that a little forward a little bit. And then we'll have another one just over here. So we'll pop that behind there like that. So that gives us a little bit more interest over there. And then I don't think I want to just stick one in the middle because I think it looks quite strange. So I'm going to pop it up here just at the side of that jetty, and I'm going to stick this one flat. And that's just going to pop behind there like that. So that gives us a little bit of interest over there. Then I've got a little flower here. So I might pop a little one just down there. And I think that's all I need really, unless we took, see if we've got another boat. I don't know what the boat will look like on dry land, but until we try it, we're not going to know, are we? So could have a little one there. No, because then I've got to put a third one in, and a third one won't make sense. So I think actually I've got enough going on this now. I think I'm quite happy with that. I might add another little flower over this side just to fill in this space a little bit, and then I'll see if one of these looks right down here. Will that look right down there? Yeah, probably. Can have a little branches coming in here maybe. So I forgot my scissors, so I'm just going to tear it, and I'm going to tuck that behind there, and that just finishes off the bottom. So it, can you see how now it's drawing these two, that one, this one? It's that design triangle that I'm looking for. And once you do it, you'll be like, oh, I never even thought that it was a thing, because you don't notice it consciously, but subconsciously. That's why sometimes when you look at a project, you're like, it's missing something. It might just be that you need to just add that extra bit on. Right, get rid of all that glue. So there is a little, just a quick, simple idea for you as to how to put, and that's all, well, apart from a little bit of glue gel, it's 90% flat, but you've got that depth and dimension. So make sure you watch the Micro Studio video with Diane as well, so she teaches you how to create that background, because it's super clever. And then you can start to build your projects. And please share everything with us on our social pages as well. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm off to do some more work now in the festival. So take care. Lots of love. Bye-bye.
If you want to see more from Highlight Crafts, make sure you click the like button. Subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below, and click the bell icon to receive notifications of all our future content. You can also click here to see our latest video, or click here to see more videos like this one.